Okay. So we are looking at the FP2 session of the United States Grand Prix. Not a lot is happening simply because Romain Grosjean red flagged the session immediately. So let's get all this updated. But yes, Romain Grosjean spun out, caught the sidewall, the barrier a lot harder than I expected. Ruined, it looks like, the suspension, his front wing for sure. And I think he's got to be pretty careful here because I'm not sure how much more in terms of their extra parts they brought along, but it can't be too much. And I know Kevin Magnussen's driving on the older piece of equipment, so they've got to be pretty careful here. So, like I said, Leclerc is P1 right now, but Romain red flagged the session, Leclerc's P1, Valtteri's P2, Alex Albon's P3, Romain was technically, I guess, P4, and Leclerc actually set a purple sector 1, so it's a shame, but they'll be restarting soon, it looks like. They do have the crane out. So yes, there is, if you are joining, there is nothing on screen because Romain has red flagged the session. And actually, looking at Grosjean's time, he was six purple mini sectors out of the possible, wow. 6 out of 9 mini sectors. So 3 in the first sector, he got halfway through. Wow. So I'm waiting to get an update from them on how quickly they're going to be able to remove his car. They're just picking it up by hand. All right, well, while we're sitting here, if you guys have, as you're watching this in the chat or in the description, wherever, it doesn't matter, or in the comments, it doesn't matter where, just leave the, I obviously go through each of these. If you have any, as this updates, if you haven't seen this before, but if you have any suggestions or any wish fors, let me know. This is all kind of built by hand with a lot of control on the back end for engineering, so. All right, I will put this on pause. Oh, not on pause. I'll just put a BRB up. I'll leave the data running, though, and updating in the background. So the second they start going again, you'll know. But, yeah, it'll go on its own. I'll pop in and out for commentary. FP2, I'll ramp up commentary a little bit more. And then I get full-on commentary especially for FP3, but for sure for qualifying. And then for the race, I'll be a regular Martin Brundle. So, well, I guess I wouldn't want to be Martin Brundle. I prefer probably Paul. What I'm trying to say is I'll be very engaged in here. But yeah, I'll be covering some of the midfield battles. I think I'm going to put on like a vote. So like maybe for 5 or 10 laps, so you guys can vote. and then I'll specifically cover that on board, which will get, it's got like a driver of the day, except in person or during the drive version. A lot of people complain about not getting coverage for their favorite driver, and this way this gives everyone fair treatment, at least for 10 laps. So if you truly don't want to watch Antonio Giovinazzi race, you can step away for 10 laps or something. But that's still up in the air. But still red flag session. It looks like 30 seconds or so, but I'm going to just hit pause on this. Like I said, the data will keep running. Probably need a little break from me. I'll fix this. I'll fix Kimmy's name. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'll be monitoring the chat. So yeah, just let me know. But yeah, I'll step away for a second. It looks like they're about to start. But like I said, the data will refresh. Okay. So we are racing again. We are in FP2. Looks like we're still when I get the programs themselves, I'll update you on who's running the tire program. Let me move myself. Okay, so in terms of who's driving, we got a lot of green sectors down in the midfield cars. It looks like some of the teams are starting to push a little bit. It's worth noting that when you look at the tires, who's actually out. So, well, first of all, let me just Grosjean wrecked and red flagged the session. Lance Stroll's in pit. Kevin Magnussen's in pit. Sergio Perez is in pit. Verstappen's out on track. He's doing his flying lap. Kvyat is out on track. He's been running a little bit. Leclerc is out on track. He's mostly green, of course, but that's nothing to be surprised about. We have purple sectors. Verstappen's got three purple mini sectors in Sector 1 alone. So Ricardo's also out on track. Ricardo's racing, or he's running a lot better times right now, than at least compared to last session. He's got a lot of greens going on. There is we can necessarily call it rubbering in of the track, but there's two yellow flags. I'm checking out the turn 9, yes. So looking at the data, it looks like it's turn 9. So Leclerc still has the best time at 1:34.434. So Hamilton's put in, looks like Hamilton is on the hard tire actually. So looking at the table here, Hamilton just put in that's 135. Hamilton, put in that 135.078 with those sector times, with that sector 3 coming in pretty quick, but 32. He's on the hard tire compared to Valtteri's medium, or compared to Charles Leclerc's medium. So all things said, it looks like Lewis is hard It looks like Lewis's lap time's a little bit stronger than Leclerc's, all things considered, when you look at the pound-for-pound tire. Verstappen is splitting those two right now, and he is plus 0.158. Hamilton's second lap on his hard tire, he actually usurps Verstappen for second place. He sits plus 0.158. And as you watch this data screen, you'll see some of the numbers actually light up. And when you see something yellow, don't necessarily think that's anything other than the fact that the number is changing itself to let you know. So you can follow along the sector times. Again, in these practice sessions, we're going to be running off, and you can mouse over and kind of pick your driver and see what they've been doing lately. But these practice sessions are going to be... This Data Viz is a little bit more conducive to the race sessions, because the practice sessions are going to be going off the actual, not the intervals, but the gaps. And so because they're on 1 lap times, everyone is within 4 seconds. So the gap between these two are not going to be optically or aesthetically apparent. Whereas in a race, being on the 6th line, being 10th, starting 10th, you're already a certain amount of seconds behind. So as you can imagine, this will all change and update in pretty cool form and fashion. But they'll be obviously jockeying back and forth and moving quite a bit more than this. But just because they're running off and on and they're so close to each other because they're on 1 lap pace, that's why it looks like this. So this will look wildly different during the race, but it's still good to provide you guys this level of data outside of the race itself, so you can kind of follow along too. Doesn't really matter, what kind of F1 fan you are. It's always good to see this stuff and be in tune with what's going on. So again, I'll pop in and out. We still have an hour in FP2, which they won't really start running quali sims for probably another 15 minutes. Yeah, it's I think Red Bull at the end of the day, at this track, I mean, I don't know. I want to say that I personally think Verstappen's going to have incident. He's going to have contact. And I think just the back and forth they've had with Hamilton all week, I don't know, what do you guys think? But I think the fact that, just all the touching that happened in Mexico, I think that's going to boil over. I don't think Verstappen's going to be on pole. I do think it's going to be Ferrari. Their straight line speed is going to be too much. As you can see, Verstappen's all over the place. He's talking about his tires dropping off, but he's driving aggressively. So I really do think he's going to end up being on probably the second row. I actually think Hamilton it'll probably be Hamilton, Verstappen on the second row. And I think the aero kits for the Red Bull are kind of suited for this. I made a circuit guide where the lateral loads were 6 out of 10 for Pirelli, and the downforces were 5 out of 10. So it's. I mean, there's nothing crazy about this circuit other than Max has history here. So I think the Red Bulls look just as good as they would at any other circuit that's not like a Monaco or anything like that, like a Singapore. So I think Max is always going to be in this. I'm curious to see what Albon does. Make sure he doesn't shunt or anything like that, but I'd love to see him race without penalty or even something negative. But I think personally Verstappen's going to struggle to get an edge. I think he's going to overdrive, and I think he's going to have contact. It looks like Albon's complaining over radio too. Both of them are. Albon and Max. But Albon's actually he's on his prototype testing. Oh, sorry, I just saw this. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, you don't, this isn't always going to be, well, especially if it's practice sessions. I think I'm so used to doing this, whether I record myself or not. I have to watch all this before I make content for you guys on the channel. So this definitely is not for everyone. And like I said, depending on the session itself, for qualifying, I always am on screen. But like even right now, I'm not even on the screen, I don't think. Yeah, so I'm not even on the screen. But this isn't for everyone, and especially this late in FP2. I see a lot of people coming mostly over to the website right about 15 minutes left in FP2. But they're about to run quali sims and race sims, so that's always a really good time to pop in. But yeah, this was one of those things that I always wanted, so I felt like making it for you guys would be cool. But yeah, no, you're not going to hurt my feelings. This isn't for everyone, but it'll be cool during the race. I'm excited to show this out for people, and especially people who don't have F1 TV, because that's quite a significant amount of people who don't have access to this. And then otherwise, you're just reliant on whatever F1 tells you and whatever they report on, which is never not the top 5 drivers, which is kind of annoying. So going back to this, a lot of yellow. They are, like I said, it sounds like they're gearing up for racing quali sims. Quali sims are first. So I'm just watching the tires. They're on mediums and hards. Some of them are on test compounds. It looks like Magnussen threw on a soft compound. It is so bumpy. I just thought that might have been FP1, but it's not. Top 3 drivers are in pit right now. You've got Leclerc in pit, Hamilton in pit, Verstappen in pit, Albon in pit. Bottas is the only one out who's in P4. Vettel's in pit, Kvyat's in pit. Magnussen's P8, and he's out. He just got done running his flyer. Grosjean's pit, Ricciardo's pit. So a lot of pits. Not new to FP2, so if you're a longtime F1 fan, this is not surprising. We are currently at 51 minutes and 33 seconds into the session itself. You want to look for around 45 minutes. I would think they would start some sort of simulation, but other than that, I'll certainly be the first to tell you. The speed traps, everyone looks pretty close. I haven't seen the Ferrari times yet, but it looks like Mercedes went through first at 3:18. The Racing Point of Stroll 3:17. Kvyat 3:16. No, so it's interesting noting, even just catching some of the commentary, they're going to be making a decision about Albon after Mexico, it looks like. So a lot of those drivers are still in pit, actually. Vettel's running an out lap, so he's running all yellow times. All right, Valtteri has soft tires on. I would say this is a for sure sign that he's going to be running quali sims. So yeah, we are officially starting quali sims. So it looks like Valtteri's going to be first, and I'll take you through each of the quali sim. All right, so Valtteri's run 1 purple sector. Vettel's running his. Vettel's actually on his quali sim. Vettel's got 4 purple sectors. 4 purple, 2 green. Valtteri just took another purple sector. So we're in sector 2 now. They're both running back to back. They're actually pretty close looking at telemetry. So you can see down here on the screen, Valtteri's got that 37. That's where we're at now. So we're updated. Valtteri, wow, that updated quicker than F1. Okay, so this is quicker somehow. But, oh yeah, that's good news, I guess. So Valtteri, his final time, only good for 4th best. It looks like 2nd best, sorry. So 134.0 for Valtteri. I'll update this, Danny Rick. This is errant, but yeah, follow this right here. Sorry about that. So you've got, it looks like Valtteri runs for 2nd best, that 134 stance. No track limit issues. Vettel's still on top of him after his quali sim. This is usually pretty reflective of what happens, of course. So it's interesting when you look at the actual gap. Leclerc outlap, and he is flying. I can already tell you this is probably going to be P1. So Leclerc goes purple, 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 yellow, purple. Sector 1. So Leclerc's 24.9 smashed everyone, of course. So this is all updated. This is updated pretty quick. Like I said, this is actually updating quicker than F1's table. So I'm just going to follow this now. That 37.796 is not purple. It's green, though. So he's gone purple-green overall sectors. These two are purple-green. He's gone wide a couple times, but he's half a second up on Vettel. So let's see, 37.47. Yeah, it's faster than... Okay, so they are calculating it, and it looks like that's going to be good for P1. Yep, in the 33s. But he had a couple wide turns, like I was pointing out. Despite having 2 purple mini sectors, he lost a little bit of time and still ran that 133, which is kind of scary. So he went overall. These are purple, green, green for Leclerc. So they should be disappeared by now. But yeah. Let me know in the chat section too if you guys notice anything. You want something different, of course. Looks like Russell's on his flyer, judging by the fact that he's got a lot of greens, no purples, but wow, Lewis is running a pretty piss poor lap, honestly. Oof, this is not, I mean, he's got a purple right now in sector 2. Okay, now he's turning on. Valtteri looks like might be on a flyer too, but he went. Oof, Hamilton. Okay, so Hamilton's first sector was green, yellow, green. These are mini sectors, so by turn. Sector 1 is split between yellows and greens, no purples. Sector 2, you'll see this update. Like I said, this is actually updating before anything. There are 4 purples out of a possible 8. So 5 purples. Okay, Hamilton's turning it on. This will be close. Okay, he's going back-to-back purples. He's in mini sector. He's in the mini sector 1 of sector 3. So he's a quarter of the way down to sector 3, gone purple, green, green. So you'll see these updates in a second. Hamilton will be fighting for P1. This will be close. He's just lost a little bit of time, it looks like. Like I said, during the race, this will be pretty obvious to see, but I'm walking you through it now because quality sims are important. So Hamilton, P1. So that last green sector, well, it's not purple, it's green, but it's still good enough for P1. So it looks like we got a couple more quality sims left, but for now, that's all we're going to do, it looks like, unless Verstappen when Verstappen comes back out and runs his, I'll be the first to let you know. As we wind down, this will pick up. The quality sims are fun to watch and listen to, and I don't see anyone on a flyer, so I'll let you know. But as these update, if there's any purple, I'll let you know. But the race sims are really what FP2 is all about. So if you're just joining, welcome. These, again, I should probably put like a disclaimer up. These cars are so close because it's based on gap. So I did a lot of work to make it so when they're actually racing, it'll actually look like they're racing across the screen. So Verstappen's still sitting in the pits, and then basically the entire grid P8 on is in the grid itself. So I bet you they're all gearing up for their quali sim, switching boots, probably taking off their C4 program, throwing on their softs, they'll race on. All right, we're still a lot of the drivers are still in the pit right now. It looks like a couple cooldowns. All right, Vettel, it looks like he's gonna run another quali sim. I will let you know he's outlapping. Ricardo looks like he's on a quali sim. But nothing doing for Ricardo right now. You check out his sector times itself are actually correct. I'll have to figure out the glitch. I'll update you on Ricardo personally. So Ricardo on his sector 1 mini sector, and I'll call them mini sectors of turns. He's got 5 green mini sectors. So 5 out of 6 in sector 1 are green. No purples, just 1 yellow. He just completed sector 2. His sector 2 time looks like it's 38 and change, 38.188. He's got 1 purple. Usually if you catch any purples, it's at least good enough for top 10. So he's through. He's got a couple greens in sector 3 already. He's got 1 yellow, no purples, 3 greens, 1 yellow. It looks like he's probably going to do another green. Yep, ends on a green. I bet you this is like P6. So Ricardo, that puts him good enough for P8. 1.692 off the pace. So Ricardo looks like he's the only one it's got a little bit of a glitch right now, but everyone else is obviously still updating. And this is why I do not listen to the live broadcast, because they are telling jokes, which are not funny. But, okay, it looks like people are coming out of pit. Leclerc, outlap, Verstappen, outlap. Here we go. Okay. So as these times update, I'll walk you through the mini sectors themselves, but you can see the actual times set up. You can see the sector times pop up here. I mean, okay, so a lot of people out running. Looks like Albon's going out. Albon is through all the way through sector 1, through sector 2, nothing purple, nothing crazy. Albon's not really having a very good lap. Let me check out his sector time here. It looks like it's probably going to be good for maybe slightly better than this, but P5, P6. Yeah, so Albon, maybe his sector time was deleted, but he's sitting P12. Yeah, but it looks like his sector time got deleted. I'll confirm that. Verstappen's on his flyer. Yeah, Verstappen's not having a very good lap either, honestly. One purple, all yellows. I wonder if he's got... No, he doesn't have traffic. Yeah, Verstappen's not looking very good right now. Albon officially is deleted. Turn 19. They're not messing around. So he ran actually a 134.234. So I wondered why that popped up. That was good enough for P6, which I kind of figured that sounded about right. Lap time deleted. Verstappen, as you can see, his times. So I'm noticing the algorithm will pull it regardless of deletion or not until it's officially deleted. So it looks like he's safe. Verstappen sits, that's good for P3. So plus 0.315. Verstappen just ran that with all yellows, by the way. So there are obviously the 3 sectors, 6 to 7 turns. So out of the 18 to what I'm doing simple math here, but 18 to 20 turns, he's got 1 purple, 1 green, all yellows. I don't know if that speaks more to what Verstappen could put together or the fact that that was a pretty poor lap and it still sits P3 and everyone's still got, we don't know engine fuel loads or anything like that. But I would say that's a pretty decent lap considering it was full of yellow mini sectors. Looks like Kimi's going to come out for his out lap here soon. And Nico Hulkenberg's going to come out for his out lap. This should be interesting to see because the Renaults looked actually decent on a couple of these initial runs. Okay, it looks like the top top 8 drivers all went back into the pit. If I had to guess what they're doing, they're probably switching boots to throw on their tires for practice for the actual race sims themselves, which is the best part in my opinion. Okay, so as they get themselves together, I'll just report. So Lando just came through at a 134.882. That's good for P11. So I mean, the McLarens usually, for as strong as they look at this point, they don't look terribly strong. But again, these are quali sims. So where the McLaren has, at least this year, has stood out was really this. It really looked out in their race pace, and that's looked the best in their race pace. And I think that's where, especially in Carlos Sainz, been able to use that McLaren well. But his lap time actually just got deleted. So that is the theme of the day, is deleted lap times. There are only 4 cars out on track, and 1 is doing cooldown. So we are getting ready to do race sims. The second best part of the weekend besides qualifying, in my opinion. I think this is kind of like finding out about your Christmas present ahead of time. This is really where everything comes down to. So I'll be, as they come back out of the pit, I'll let you know immediately. They'll probably take a couple minutes though. Vettel's gonna run one more sim. Maybe this is his race sim actually. So Vettel's back out. I'll let you know. I'll know here in about 45 seconds. Well, I guess you can look at this table too. So how I look at it, especially these practice sessions, not to be condescending. I mean, you guys know how to look at a table, but how I kind of measure these is first of all, I try to understand what tire they're on, what are the purple times, and then what are they about, what are they running currently and what program are they on? So we know for sure they're about to be on race sims. So you're not going to be seeing best times, but you want to be lumping these the lap times together. So when you see Leclerc out, and so I'll be updating you too. So Vettel's out and Gasly are out. Those are probably both race sims. So because you guys, if you can't see it live, these race sessions, you can just see the data. You'll be following Gasly's times and you'll be following Vettel's times. And that's basically what they'll do in the race. So wherever he finishes, what I'll be measuring is, as long as they're on the same tire, what is the gap between Gasly and Vettel? We want to think it's going to be half a second. So let's find out. Leclerc's also on his out lap. So again, let's watch that. Okay, so Gasly, it looks like he comes through at a 134.509. Okay, so that wasn't his race sim. Vettel's doing some practice starts. Okay. I guess he did a outlap to do his race start. Now he's going to go for another outlap. Okay, it looks like Leclerc went back into the pit, but Hamilton came out. The live announcers are talking about absolutely nothing, of course. Okay, so Kvyat's on an outlap, Ricciardo's on an outlap. So it looks like we're picking up a little bit. Leclerc's back on an outlap. Vettel's on his about to end his outlap. Or yeah, that's Verstappen's in the pit. So yeah, Vettel's almost out of his outlap. So that Leclerc time that just flashed is his. Looks like they're saying outlap still, but it's on. He's still on softs. I'll update you on his mini sector times. Yeah, he's going yellow, yellow. This is definitely an outlap. So these sector times you see flashing now, especially for Leclerc, are not him. They're not the sims. All right, looks like they're going to do practice starts. Hamilton and Carlos. All right, I'll let them. It looks like they're collecting data. In a few minutes, they'll start doing their race sims, and I'll pop back on and I'll give you guys a heads up. They're starting their sims because they'll start to flash the times really quick, and you can start to compare them and eyeball them and see what the race is going to look like 2 days in advance. So I'll let you know here in a second. The second the sims actually start. Okay, we are back on track, running more of the, so it looks like we're running more of the sims, 20 minutes left. Current pace for Valtteri, looks like it's just, looking at the screen here, it's just under 140. 139 and change. So Valtteri's got a fastest time of 134 in his quali sim, his race sim, just under 140. Hamilton's had a few of his laps deleted. A lot of these drivers are struggling at turn 19. Going to make a very interesting qualifying session, that's for sure. Okay, yeah, and it's looking like so the one thing to mention is that all these turn 19 lap deletions. It's important to remember the fact that you're going to get a bigger penalty in the race if you get 3 of these. So I think they're going to get a black and white flag if they get 3 in the practice session. It might be in per session. So Lewis, he's got to have 2 at least. So yeah, Lewis has 2. A few of the other drivers have 2. But it's got to be both tires outside of red and white lines. Again, I kind of mentioned it a couple of times. This is going to be a pretty interesting storyline playing out come the qualifying session. So we're down to 15 minutes. And it'll be interesting to see. So a lot of the drivers are still out there. More than majority of them are actually on softs. Vettel is on hards. So that's odd. And this is usually the time where I watch as they're all doing their race sims and their pace. This is the interesting time to see what tire they test. And it makes me think that Vettel, okay, so Vettel, if Vettel's on a hard right now, I think the thing that, I don't want to, obviously I'm not in Ferrari's garage, I'm guessing just like all of you, but that's exactly what Mercedes did last race. We weren't really sure why. In FP2, they tested their hard extensively, and look what Lewis did. He ended up going 60-plus laps on hard. Is this what's going to happen with Vettel? Because I think this is actually pretty smart. You can all disagree, but it could be that Vettel, knowing that he's probably going to be pretty quick in a straight line, but I don't see... This is where I don't know how much they talk across the garage with Leclerc, but Vettel could be going one really hard stint on these softs, knowing how durable the compound is, and then throw on for a mega hard stint, but still, I mean, run this into the ground. Look how good the tires look so far. So that wouldn't be too wild to think that if he's going to go on a short stint really, really hard in those softs, and frankly, this is what he was on pace to do in Russia, and he got the MG UK issue, but he was going to be running a really hard stint, first 17, 16, whatever. He did end up pitting, right? I think it was 2 laps late, but he ended up pitting 18, 17 laps in. Had he not had that issue or got everyone's opinion, had he not been purposely undercut by Leclerc to right the wrong, it's no commentary, it's fine. But I think he would have easily won Russia, and he didn't have that MG UK issue. And I think I think this is what he's lining up to do again. Because he's pacing right now, and I'm looking at his times on screen. 26.971. Valtteri's on mediums, so, and as I say all that, of course, Vettel goes off track just as I say that. So Vettel's off track on 13. It's an odd place, but okay, so getting back to it, Vettel does 1:33.89. Oh no, that's his best time. He does a sector 1 time of 26.971 versus Valtteri's 27.024. Valtteri's on mediums, so he's beating Valtteri on a harder compound. All right, so remember that. That's something I'm noting too. The Ferrari is very quick on the hard. I jinxed him. Oh, God, that's a pretty bad spin. That's a Monza spin. I guess they're showing it backed out, and that spin's actually pretty... Ooh, that's terrible. I'll try to give you guys a onboard of this if they let me, but knowing them, they will block it. So I'll do my best, but that was a pretty bad spin, so I don't like that omen. Other than that, he is the only one Hulkenberg is testing hards too, which usually it's Danny Rick running super long stints on hard tires, but so Leclerc's garage is telling him that Hamilton is actually lapping a 139, and these are on race sims, and Leclerc's response was, no way I can do it. Don't know if that's I don't know if he's just being honest or if that's something to, like, it's going to get back to Mercedes, but his tire deg doesn't look that bad. I wonder why he said that. All right, it looks like Lewis is throwing on hards. Lewis actually brought an extra set of hards than Valtteri, so he's going to test the hard tires. I think this, personally, I think Lewis and Vettel are going to be on the same strategy, which is fascinating. Looks like Danny Kvyat did the same exact thing as Vettel with just a piss poor spin. What are they? I don't know why they're doing this or what's going on with that turn. Well, it looks like turn 18. It's a little different, but looks like Hamilton. Well, Hamilton's actually went into the pit. I thought he was coming out on hards. Okay, yeah, he is on his outlap. Okay, that's what I thought. So this will be fascinating. Oh no, he's got on mediums. So he switched to mediums. Okay. Let's see what he does. Sector 1. Oh, I guess that's technically his outlap. Yeah. Okay. All right, so Kimi's on medium. He just went sector 1, 27.869. But that's a yellow. Yeah, that's not the best of. He's not on the best of laps. Yeah, no one's looking that impressive, honestly. So a tire recap. Hamilton's on hards, Leclerc's on mediums, Verstappen's on softs, Vettel's is running on hard currently, Albon's in the pit, Valtteri's on mediums, Pierre is on hards, it looks like. Carlos is on softs, Lance is on hards, and Giovinazzi's on softs. That's in order, descending of current best time. Race sims look all but complete. In the write-up, I will go through the top race sims so you kind of have the heads up on what's going to happen. I mean, at this point, it's going to be a fight between... I mean, after that spin by Vettel, I would have said Vettel and Verstappen for pole. But at the same time, it looks like Hamilton's holding back. Mercedes is definitely holding back, and Valtteri just doesn't look that good. So I don't feel comfortable saying where I think Hamilton is looking at these lap times. And it looks like they're holding a ton back. The dangerous thing, like I was talking about before, is with Ferrari, especially Vettel, looks really fast on that hard. Yeah, so now everyone's talking about, and maybe this is exactly what Leclerc wants, everyone's talking about Leclerc's radio where he said, I can't do that time, where they told him about Hamilton's lap time. But Leclerc was on softs, so that radio doesn't really make a lot of sense, but... Sergio looks like he's still on his flyer. He's gone Sector 1 yellow, which is not surprising considering they're on sims. It looks pretty comfortable. The Alpha looks the worst handling the Coda bumps. So this circuit, they've really got to fix and probably recoat between now and next season. But this Racing Point looks okay. Nothing crazy. I don't really expect much from Sergio at this track. It would be it would be an incredible performance if he ended up getting points. Turn 19, yeah, he's pushing it. These guys are pushing it. And like I said, I was earlier in this, that's 3 and you get a warning. And almost every driver has certainly been on the edge 3 times. And a few of them have 2 warnings on turn 19 alone. So about 6 minutes left. So they're telling Leclerc to upshift turn 9. So they're probably trying to handle that bump and how to get out of it clean. So they're telling him to upshift out. That's interesting. Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably to control for the over rev. Yeah, that makes sense. So Verstappen about halfway done. Okay, it looks like we've got the soft. We got the soft sims itself. And interesting. Okay, so over, it looks like, make sure I count this right, 7 laps. Okay, then Hamilton, watching the live, he definitely just went wide. So looking at the, sorry, I just caught your chats. Sorry about that, buddy. Verstappen 139.7. Verstappen's the fastest on these softs, which now that I guess average them out, that makes a little bit more sense. Hamilton 139.8, so he's just behind Verstappen 139.7 versus 139.8. And why I think everyone's talking about that is because Leclerc was talking about his lap time on the softs, trying to match Hamilton's 139.8, not knowing Verstappen just went 139.7. Leclerc went 140.2. So him saying I can't keep up with that. He's saying I can't catch Hamilton on that 139.8. And yeah, he's right. He could not at all keep up with it. So Verstappen's quali sim looked very strong. Vettel spinned again. I don't. It was pretty bad too. They just gave Vettel or Leclerc the sign to upshift again on turn 9. Leclerc sounds really flustered. But anyways, yeah. So Leclerc struggling on this tire. I still maintain. I don't know why they're not talking about it, but Vettel looked really good on that hard before he actually spun out. Vettel looked really, really good on that hard. And now this isn't the perfect pace, but because he's the only one with the average time out that was quick enough to be standing on the leading board. But Vettel ran a 133.890, and that was on his 1 lap pace. So that was when they were doing the quali sims that put him good for P3 or P4. Now, when you look at the race pace, yeah, like I'm just making sure I average these out. I'm trying to see if I can get another driver in there. It looks like it's a 4-driver race on the race pace itself. Verstappen does look best. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it has anything to do with the downforce package. Because the tire degradation on the Ferrari, and this might make sense why Vettel is running so hard in the hard tire compound, because he just accepted the fact that their tire deg is just terrible on this track. And yeah, it probably is the lack of downforce. The McLaren pace is, let's see, the McLaren pace is like a 140 and change. Let me have my quicker math. I'd like to think my math is quicker. Like a high 148, 147, 147.9 or 148 low, which puts them not considerably, not very close to even Leclerc, who's struggling, but very far off like Verstappen's pace. The McLarens don't look very good right now. I was talking about that earlier. It's not really, and their FP1 was just terrible. And Carlos had a pretty bad, not bad, but a pretty jarring spin, I guess, after seeing everyone else's. Ooh, there was almost a accident, actually. They're showing now with Lance Stroll and the McLaren, Carlos Sainz. Valtteri's pace time is a 139.285, but that's on softs. So let that sink in. 139.285. Verstappen's is a 139 high, 139.7 on mediums. Trying to get some other time. So Sergio's pace on his hards are 140 low. So that's on par with the McLaren. Yeah, look, this is not Leclerc's track. I thought Leclerc was probably going to be pole, or not pole. I thought that Vettel having raced here so much, I thought Vettel was probably going to pull out a pole. I still haven't seen Vettel put together enough laps to really get a good sense of how he looks on softs. But he's not talking on radio too much. I've been listening to his radio. I think the only thing that's the most interesting to me is Valtteri looks very bad. Yeah, looks like Valtteri. Okay, so Valtteri doesn't look very good. Yeah, his soft average, just his average on his softs after a couple more laps just bumped up to a 140 and change. I have no idea what's going on with Valtteri. So unless he pulls one out of his butt to get up on the grid, even his race pace doesn't look like it's going to be there. Leclerc's medium. Leclerc's medium pace time was a high. They just flashed it off to do the math. 139 high. Yeah. So I'm done. Just looking at all this, it looks like everyone's done with the session. Looking at these times, it's always hard to peel apart what happened because you're looking at who went fastest while comparing the two. Yeah, I would say based on how this is going, Hamilton doesn't look comfortable. That's all. I don't want to guess. I don't like guessing and pretending I know, but I can just. He's talking a lot on radio, and it doesn't look like the kind of chirp where it's like I'm trying to get into the team's head. It just sounds like he's really uncomfortable. Verstappen's a little bit more quiet than normal on his radio. I have a few of those up at once, and it's usually Verstappen, Hamilton, and Vettel. Vettel's usually quiet for the most part, so if he does talk, something's going on. But it looks like Verstappen is the best all around running his times and has had the least amount of incidents. Hamilton is really bouncy. He's complained a lot over radio. Let's see. It looks like out of these average times, yeah, it looks like out of these average times, Leclerc looks quick, but has by far the most amount of incidents. The amount of incidents in terms of the lockups. So I've got him at 4 lockups. And after, it looks like Verstappen, so Verstappen won, Leclerc 2. I would say Vettel, but he was running a different program, but Vettel just after that, but he's on the hard tires. So if you wanted to weight it, all things considered, being on the hard tire, running those quick of laps, I want to put Vettel probably on the front row, but having the overall best race pace. I still have him winning this race. And Leclerc, I thought, might be quicker and get pole, but based on what he's saying and how much he's complaining, I don't even think he's going to be able to do that. Hamilton looks like he's going to be it looks like it's going to be a strategy battle, which we all know Mercedes is very powerful and very smart and strategical. So I think Mercedes, if they play the right game, has a chance, but I really do think this might be Verstappen's. Typical Grosjean immediately too. I didn't even get the stream going. He already wrecked. So this is going to be one of those. This might, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but might be a very boring race. We will see how qualifying goes, but yeah, they're showing right now the final times. These don't really mean a ton without comparing the sims, but yeah. So you got Hamilton at first at 133. You've got Leclerc second, 133.5. Hamilton is 133.2. Verstappen sitting P3 at 133.547. And again, yeah, all these things, I guess, when you listen to it all the way through and watch this data, you can see the wild swings that Leclerc is going through. He's got lockup, then he's got to do another outlap. He comes in, he cools down, he runs another lap, and then it's quick. So I will say Leclerc knows how to put together a quick pace, a quick lap, but I think FP3, after seeing these two sessions, FP3 honestly might be the most boring of all. This might be because it's only an hour, and he's not that comfortable, so he might end up running a lot more. I'm talking about Leclerc, but I think what Leclerc will tell us, if anything, you're right. I think it'll tell us about Mercedes. Hamilton still hasn't driven the car really hard yet. He has P1 coming out of that, but those are on sims. So I still haven't seen Hamilton drive, at least put together a lap like he's used to putting together. The only thing I know for sure is Valtteri looks terrible. Alex Albon looks quiet. And really the best of the rest is I don't know that Gasly's going to come away with this. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the Racing Points did, but I think at this point, FP2 probably showed us all we needed to know. I like Vettel. I like Vettel because he had the least amount of incidents. This might be a VSC. If anyone knows, put it in the. I'm gonna do the FP2 review. If anyone knows the amount of incidents or average first year safety car, let me know. But I kind of foresee that happening a lot. If you guys notice how bumpy it is, so. I will be doing the overview. There's a lot that happened. I'll do some of the quali sims probably, but obviously I talked about it at length in this. But it looks like Verstappen looks best across quali and race sims. It looks like Vettel is going to be one of those quiet contenders. It looks like Hamilton, I really don't know, but he'll definitely always be in the race. Valtteri should be in the race. He's in the same machinery. I don't think he will be. And Leclerc's a wild card. If he can pull it together, I think this could be a race where he could end up winning just based on his straight line speed. But it doesn't look like straight line speed is going to help them a lot here because it just feels like he's constantly avoiding trying to make an error rather than driving his Ferrari. So I don't typically say that about Leclerc. I'm actually almost always really confident in Leclerc's ability to move the car around the track the way he wants. That's why it started to get boring the other way with Leclerc having such good performances and people are talking about Hamilton. Well, if they didn't have such poor strategy, Leclerc probably should be winning most of these races. So, and I don't even personally, I'm probably the most critical of Ferrari. So it's not like I'm a fanboy or anything like that. But this FP3, I think that's if you're just being optimistic. Unfortunately, I don't think FP3 is going to show us anything. I hate to say it too because I catch myself going, well, let's see what FP3 does. It's an hour, but we'll see. I think if they put it like this, if Mercedes come out immediately and are the first ones on the track, then I think you'll see some quick lap times. But otherwise, I don't know that they're going to actually put any in. So we're going to see tomorrow. But I'm going to sign off here. I'll make the review. I'll be doing, actually, now that I've got some, it's not that late here, actually. So I'll be doing the rules and regulations, official content, or at least finishing the write-up, and I'll get that out to you guys. So appreciate you checking this out. As always, leave any suggestions in the box below. Probably most people will watch this after the fact, so I get it. I have a lot of wiggle room here. And like I said, I cut in and out because they're hour-long sessions and you don't want me talking over all this. But yeah, you can mouse over each of the drivers and check out, different graphics and stuff like that. But let me know if you want anything. Otherwise, I'll leave it there. Thanks for checking this out, guys. Appreciate your time. And this has been fun to make for you, and I'll just keep making it better. But I'll see you guys soon.